So if you're into gaming or tech at all, you're probably aware of these handheld gaming consoles that have been getting very popular in recent years. And here I've got the ROG Ally by ASUS, which is obviously great for gaming, but as you can see, it is actually running Maschine 3 software. So can you really make beats with it? Now, the more tech-savvy of you might already be like, bro, this is basically just a Windows laptop in a different form factor. Of course you can make music with it, duh. And yeah, that's true, it does run Windows 11, but I really wanted to see how well a small and compact device like this performs for music production. As you can see, it's around half the size of a 14-inch MacBook Pro. And a more popular gaming device in this category is the Steam Deck by Valve. And you can also install DAWs and plugins on it and use it for music. However, it doesn't run Windows out of the box, it uses SteamOS. So you'll have to install Windows yourself, which shouldn't be a problem, but it also has a much weaker CPU than the ROG Ally that we're going to be using in this video. So the Ally would be able to run more CPU-hungry plugins and larger projects. I actually switched from the Steam Deck to the Ally for gaming exactly because of the extra power that this one provides. The ROG Ally has the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme CPU, which on paper is about as powerful as Apple's M1 Pro. So it should perform really well. It also comes with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of SSD storage. But you know, specs and benchmarks, they don't always translate to real-world experience, and I never expected this thing to be in the same league as a MacBook Pro or a Mac Mini, which I use as my main studio computer. So Maschine Mark III is the perfect device to pair with this, as the Maschine software is actually built from the ground up for doing everything from the controller. So there really isn't any need to interact with the screen, which is good because even if it's a touch screen, the Maschine software or any other desktop DAW for that matter isn't designed for touch, and at around 7 inches the screen on the Ally is really small anyway. So it's good only for occasional use, like for example naming your projects when saving. And you can of course use something like Ableton Push with Ableton Live or any other music software that works on Windows. So how was my experience using Maschine with the ASUS ROG Ally? Well, honestly, I was surprised how good the experience was, like really. I used a USB-C dock to connect the Maschine MK3 controller and my complete control keyboard. And using the Ally with this dock connected to a power source also allows you to get the best performance possible by switching to the 30-watt turbo mode. So installing Maschine, Contact and several libraries was fast and easy, and performance while making beats was actually butter smooth. I didn't hear a single click or pop, even though I was running my Maschine software at a buffer size of 64 samples. So there was no noticeable latency and it really felt like I was using a standalone Groovebox, without the performance limitations of a standalone Groovebox. I mean, this thing is way more powerful than Maschine Plus or even Push 3, which I think is currently the most powerful Groovebox on the market in terms of CPU power. For one of the beats I made, I was using around 6 instances of Contact 8, which is a bit of a CPU hog, and the CPU in Windows was hovering around 18 to 20%, and like I said, playback and recording was smooth as butter. I was honestly very impressed because I've tried a Windows laptop with very similar specs, and the experience was, for some reason, it wasn't as good. And I was expecting that a device made specifically for gaming with all the bloat that these devices come pre-installed would be worse, but it was actually great. Now, if we compare it to a Mac, the lack of fan noise is one big advantage of Macs. And yeah, at least my Mac Mini and M1 MacBook Pro, these are dead silent even under load. And while the ROG Ally did ramp up its fans on several occasions, they were actually pretty quiet and not annoying at all. And still, it was silent, or at least very quiet, most of the time while I was making music. So it all sounds amazing, but surely this thing can't be as good as a MacBook Pro, right? And yeah, there is one aspect where it really falls short, and that is performance when running on battery. The projects that were running super smooth when connected to external power did start to pop and crackle a lot when running on battery, regardless of what power mode I had set the device to. Battery life, on the other hand, was kind of okay, not too bad. As you can see, I've got around 60% left of the battery, and I've got the Maschine controller plugged in, and I'm playing back a project with a lot of contact instances, so it shows around hour and a half. So maybe with a full charge, it may be able to last around 3 hours or even more, which is not that bad, again, considering it is powering the controller as well. But again, any Apple Silicon Mac would last way longer while retaining smooth performance on battery. And the newer model of this, called the ROG Ally X, is supposed to have much better battery life, but I wouldn't expect it to perform better on battery. It also has one other advantage to the original Ally, is that it has 2 USB-C ports, so you can connect both a controller and the power without using the USB dock. So overall, if you have one of these or want to get one for gaming and also use it for making beats as a secondary use case, then it is absolutely fantastic. With a USB-C dock, you can even connect it to an external display, mouse and keyboard and get great performance, and frankly, this can function as your only computer for music production, content creation and gaming. But if you're not gaming and working on battery is important for you, I would just get a Mac. Even an M1 MacBook Air would be fine for this. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you support the channel by hitting like down there, subscribing if you are not a subscriber yet, and if you want to take your support a bit further, you can get one of my packs. Links will be down in the video description. Catch you later!